Hello, everyone. Welcome back to a very special episode of the podcast today. I am Matt Scott, your host of Inside Fnatic's Brush, your more or less weekly show. Today, we'll be talking about something specific, something that's been brewing for a few years now, but with recent events has kind of taken a new shape and has kind of exploded on the Twitter sphere, if you will. Do people still call it like that? Oh, we've got a few people in there. Nito, Ploppy. Thank you for joining, guys. Thank you very much. But yeah, today we're going to be talking about Fnatic. They're like, well, Scott, you already talk about Fnatic on a regular basis. Well, I talk about Fnatic LEC. I don't talk about Fnatic as in the org. Today we're going to be talking about Fnatic as the org. What's been happening recently in terms of results, in terms of fan reactions, and in terms of the head of the organization, like Sam, for instance, and what they've been doing in response to all of this. So that's the plot for today. Those are the topics. So first, I'll be taking you through, what Fnatic as an org has been getting as results. Obviously, hasn't been too great overall, but we'll go into the details. We'll look at some of the fan reactions. I think obviously there's some stuff you're aware of, but I want to look at the broader spectrum of how Fnatic fans have been feeling. And then obviously I want to go over about what Sam as the CEO has done and behaved in regards to the different elements that have surrounded Fnatic, whether it be the fans, the performances, the products that he's been putting out, and the overall perception that we have of him. And we'll try to kind of sum it up, see exactly what's next, what we can hope for this organization that we all love so much. I'm just going to switch off the music right now. Unless you guys prefer with the music in the back. But yeah, maybe that's... oh, by the way, just before I go on, I appreciate the people who have been watching through YouTube, leaving the comments if you're discovering the channel or you're coming back. Thank you very much. I try to take the time to reply to all of your comments and put in some of the suggestions. Someone suggested that maybe it was a bit low or the music was too loud. So I've tried to tweak some of those parameters. So let me know about it. If you're watching the VOD or if you're watching live, if everything's clear for you, if it's too loud, if it's not loud enough, let me know. But yeah, just wanted to shout out to people watching on YouTube. Really appreciate it. But yeah, obviously, talking about Fnatic, before we actually go into the topic, I thought I'd introduce myself actually so you can understand where I come from. Who am I? Why am I so concerned about Fnatic? Why am I talking about Fnatic as the organization? Why am I not staying in my lane and talking about it, the LEC? Well, I've been a Fnatic fan since 2013, basically, or end of 2013 during Worlds. And that's where I kind of got to know about the esports sides of League of Legends. So I think I started my account roughly end of season 2, but really started playing it during season 3. And I just kind of stumbled onto some content and found stuff about, I believe it was ex-Becky interviews or stuff like this, and from there on, I was like, I guess I'm a Fnatic fan. I've had the chance to not only meet some of the players. As you can see, I have a very precious selfie with Reckless that I like to share on the Fnatic Discord. If you're ever on there, you know that this picture tends to pop from there on out. I've also participated in a few live events. My first live event actually was Worlds 2015 quarterfinals. I really got lucky to actually get a ticket for the match that involved Fnatic, and it was Fnatic versus EDG, where there was a super lengthy pause because of Gragas bug, I believe, which was pretty much Rainover's pick at the time, and we had to wait like over an hour because it didn't have all the technology they have now with the what would they call it, the chrono break and stuff like this. So it took ages to get that solved, but it was a very fun event. I managed to get a high five from our dear Yellow Star, so that just made my day. I tried to get a picture with Hooney, but he was doing all types of interviews, so he unfortunately wasn't available. But it was good times. And the picture you see on the far right, that's me at I believe it was summer 2017 at Bercy in Paris, where I met a lot of the Fnatic fans on there, some of the current mods or people that work with Fnatic, such as Lidden, Amy, Dutch Mash, who else? I met some of the players. I met Niski when he was still part of, was it Evil Geniuses or Envious? Was it Envious? I believe it was Envious. Let me check. I always confuse the two because I see the big E logo, and because Evil Genius have like changed so many times. It was Team Envious. It was Team Envious. My memory is good. It was Team Envious. And a bunch of other people. Got to meet the coach. Got to meet Dylan. But yeah, apart from that, I've always been like very invested into Fnatic, and not only with my presence, with my passion, but also on the monetary side, I guess. I don't know if that necessarily legitimizes me as a fan, but I guess, a little bit. I've actually brought... Sorry, I'm just... Okay, I just had a hair in my mouth. That's cool. So some of the jerseys that I've bought throughout the years, there's not the full collection here, but I can't remember exactly the years on those ones. You have the most recent ones. You have some world editions. Yeah. Do I have... I'm wondering. I actually have like a sort of unique jersey, which is the Fnatic Rising jersey, where they had the HMA sponsorship, which was the how do you call this? Crap! I'm actually drawing a blank here. It's the what do you call these apps that help you relocate your IP? Whatever that is. That was the tool they were using, the brand they were sponsored with, and it was only sponsoring Fnatic Rising. And I won this on the giveaway, and it has the sponsorship on the shoulder. So yeah, that. But yeah, like other types of merch like joggers, hoodies. So this is my favorite Fnatic hoodie, by the way. This is becoming like, this was supposed to be about commenting about Fnatic. This is just me flexing on some of the merch. This is some of the best. This is one of the best hoodies, in my opinion, that Fnatic ever came up with this sort of Cyrillic writing at the back. It's really cool, and the hoodie is super warm as well. So like if you're having like a big gaming session in winter, this is the granddaddy of hoodies right there. Super comfortable. But yeah, I mean, if we go on, like not only merch but also gear. So I have the Fnatic Bolt. I have a bunch of other shit. Well, I have the React headset, as you can see. Have the gear keyboard. A mouse pad as well. I have the dash, which is super nice. I also have the sort of, is it bungee or whatever it's called? This little thingy that holds your mouse cable. Now, obviously, since I have the wireless one, it doesn't matter. Um, Color gear shit. Nah, dude, like literally, I buy apart from the keyboard, which has been working super well for me, and I haven't had the need really to. No, actually, that's not the reason, because the mouse was working really well for me, and I still wanted to try the bolt because it looked super sexy. It's just that their recent keyboards doesn't have the numpad, and I love having the numpad. It's so practical. So I've stayed with like the old version, like their first version of keyboards that I actually won on a giveaway. By the way, I've won a bunch of stuff from the giveaways. So um, one of the stuff, by the way, being I can't remember when it's. If you guys go on my Twitter at madscott underscore, follow me by the way, you will see my pinned tweet, which is a sort of pub quiz that Fnatic organized in 2020 during the off season, and it was like a big quiz about all things Fnatic, and there was Sam Matthews and Karn who are participating, and I beat both of them to be the number one sort of participant to win the whole thing, and I got a bunch of stuff in the giveaway. It was super cool. Like some merch and stuff like this, like jerseys. But yeah, I don't know where it was going. I'm just flexing, but that wasn't the objective. But yeah, just to add a couple of few things, I've invested in the sort of crowdfunding project for Fnatic. I bought one of the expensive Pioneer keys as well. So I'm fully invested in Fnatic. I have this podcast that I'm doing. I'm taking my own time. I you know, come up with all the topics. I work on it myself. I did have Curly do all of the sort of visual aspects, by the way. Shout out to him. He's super cool about this. But yeah, I'm a massive fan of Fnatic, and that's why I kind of want to bring the topic today about what's going on, because I care. I want to see this org succeed and be at the top, and I'm getting tired of seeing other orgs or brands who have, I mean, maybe saying below us, not necessarily the term, but weren't at our level, and now the trend has shifted, and it looks like we're the ones who are racing. Which actually brings me to my next point, which is a great segue. It's about the org results. So if we have just a quick look at the overview of what's going on, obviously recent results within the LEC have been really disappointing. We're looking at one of probably the best rosters we've ever had in terms of individual talent, in terms of personalities as well, and in terms of potential. We went into the season with all this hype. We go into the split ending second. Super good performance for a team that's changed 3 of their members, and all of these members being on like single lanes. So it's not like you bring in like a bot lane that's playing it together and this kind of plug and play. You're bringing in 3 different players who've never played together, who've all have this level of veterancy and who have their type of playing, and we managed to create some good synergy. Playoffs start super well. We crush G2 on a 3-1. Then we start the series against Rogue super well, 2-0, and we suddenly just stumble onwards into a 3-0 against G2, our eternal rivals, who end up winning it all, by the way, with what you could call a budget roster. Like in their first year of investing into rookies, they managed to have one of the most impressive and even insane performances, going 12-0 through a losers bracket into finals, even against Rogue. Like, even Rogue, who you could say was way more stable than us, we just completely mentally boomed, got 3-0 from them, and they looked untouchable. They looked untouchable. And it's very annoying, because not only our rivals just kicks our ass, but they're the ones who get back onto the top when there's finally a sort of hiatus year of there's no Fnatic or G2 that won the previous season. Now all the cards are drawn, the teams are revamped, everything's on the line. It's time to get back, to be the team that, gets back on top between the two legendary orgs. And it's again G2 that gets there first instead of us. So there's double frustration here. Not only that, Fnatic doesn't accomplish this sort of objective that it set itself with this type of roster, is that again, G2 are the ones who are first. They're the ones who are setting sort of friggin' history records, and we are the org who's been there from the start. It's absolutely crazy. Now, yeah, the highs that they've shown, and G2. Well, okay, so here's the thing about I've been reading all over the place that people have been talking about staff, and that's I have the fan segment that maybe I'll talk about. I don't know if the staff situation is really what's hurting us. Like, you've had top teams. Like, if you go onto Cadro's Twitter, he posted a few weeks ago a picture of Koma, who in 2016, when he was still part of SKT, he's in a room alone watching the game on a chair taking notes. There's no like 10 people behind him with mental coach, strategic, whatever, analysts, sports guy. And we know the success that he had afterwards. He's one of the most decorated coaches in the world. Granted, he has great players, but he's that pillar behind, and the work he's done, he doesn't need 10 people talking to him about what's the right decisions. So I'm not completely sold on the staffing, but we can talk about it a bit more later when I treat the subject. Just back onto the results, right? So that's for the LEC. Second most popular game Fnatic has a lot of history in. This was back the SKT, that was back in 2016. Obviously, there's a lot of gap, a lot of strategy have evolved, stuff like this. But I still think, I mean, we'd have to look at T1's coaching staff and see if they have like 10 people behind them, or if maybe there's just one or two more people. Like the structure. It's actually a good question. I haven't taken the time to maybe do, let's say, a fair comparison. So I guess that's a subject maybe we can go back onto. But just to move forward very quickly. Yes. So other game on which we have a lot of we've had a lot of success and a legacy and even an era, and was the Counter-Strike. Counter-Strike, triple major. Fnatic era, we were untouchable. We've gone through many iterations, legendary players like JW, Flusha, Olaf Meister, even Golden to some extent. And from today's roster, we still have only Crimps. So we've recently, for people who don't necessarily follow CSGO and are like, I'm not sure what Mad Scott's talking about here. We recently lost one of our top players, a young guy called Brolin. A lot of promises, was kind of the new face of the Fnatic CSGO. We lost him to NIP. So NIP is a bit the G2 of CSGO. Like, they are Swedish rivals for years, and they take our best players because we've tried some new approaches. With a sort of mixed roster. Usually we had a very Swedish roster, 5 players from the same country, which is a bit the trend you find in CSGO for a lot of years. There's being a trend a bit more towards mixed nationalities. But for as far as I can remember, you had the Swedish teams, the French teams, who were basically the strongest ones. You had German teams with big, and then obviously you had American teams and stuff like this. But you had strong nationalities, Danish teams as well with Astralis, obviously. If Connor was here, he'd probably be able to tell me a bit more, but I think he's not available today. But Connor, if you're watching, thinking about you and your distress, you being a long time Fnatic CSGO fan. And so currently we are top 15th, which isn't really great for an org like Fnatic. You'd expect them top 10, eventually top 5, but there's a massive phase of rebuilding, which doesn't feel like there's a clear roadmap. Right now we're filling with a lot of players from our academy who not necessarily at the top level yet. It's just we're putting some patches here and there just to sort of go through the season, and it's a bit annoying because there's no perspective here, right? There's nothing where you can say, you know what, it's just a rough spot, but I believe that we're gonna make some good hires. We're gonna go for some, promising players. There's JKS, who just won a trophy with FaZe, who everybody was talking about. Karen was pretty much like, we're not gonna go for this guy, which is kind of sending a weird message to the Fnatic fans. We're like, well, where's the ambition here? And so you're looking at this roster who's not really exciting. No flame to these guys. They're very nice. I like. I'm a big fan of Crims. I think he's easily one of my favorite players in CS:GO. Mezzy is pretty decent. Alex has been, I'd say, a solid / regular IGL, and Poison before. He was kind of He's officially Fnatic in the sense that he's in sort of a testing phase for 3 months. But yeah, he was more of a standing most of the time. He's kind of saved their asses, good opping, and Pepzor kind of on and off. So it's nothing you can say like, oh my god, there's like so much potential in this roster. Next tournament we're going into, we're definitely going in as the favorites. We are no longer the favorites, and this for maybe 1-2 years now. And it's super disappointing when you know the legacy of Fnatic in that game. So that's another point. Valorant, it looked super promising. We made some recent changes. We took out Doma. We put in Brave AF. Very young prospect. We have amazing players like Boaster and Durkee, Mystic and Magnum as well. Just very solid team. And into the qualifying tournament, we played some insane games, and at one point we just sort of crumbled completely. A bit like in LEC. Like you would not recognize this team from one series to another. And that was with the full roster. Now, with the recent tournament, which is a bit the World's Tournament, right? That's going on right now. Durkee, which is easily our best player, gets COVID. Can't come over. Brave AF, who's Russian, basically gets fucked over with his visa for evident reason, which forces us to play kind of last minute with 2 standings. And we just exit the tournament within 2 best of 3s, I believe it was. Yeah. Get this. Durkee gets a negative test, flies over, has to quarantine still, not participate. Doesn't get to participate at all because his quarantine doesn't end in time to play any games with the team. So, sorry. I need to sneeze. Bless me, sorry. So basically, Durkee, our best player, gets paid a free trip to Iceland to not play at all and just see his team get demolished. and that's it. Thank you, Pluppy. But yeah, so for our three big games that are going on right now, it's super disappointing. It's hard to project ourselves. I hate talking about rumors, but I'm pretty sure you guys heard about this, have read about it, that there's might be changes within the Fnatic LEC team, which is super disappointing because I don't think the mental boom that happened necessarily means that there needs to be changes. People are talking about Razork. I think this guy had so much progress. He's done so much progress throughout the split. I find it really unfair that he gets to be the scapegoat, if it's the case. And I really hope we don't get a bad surprise, Like the big culprits have been Humanoid, who for some reason decides to die to every gank, and Hillisang, who was super off. Like you could not recognize that this guy was a potential MVP candidate the way he was playing. Yeah, I'm well aware that Yamato wants the team to stick together because you build a project, you build on the long run. And I don't understand why we would make like those changes instead of really looking at the root of the problem and doing something about it. Like, if you genuinely think that moving a guy like Razork is going to solve whatever the internal issues are, and I can't say do we need more staff? If it's a psychological problem, you don't need more analysts or stuff like this. You need a guy who's like a mental coach or stuff like that. I thought what's his guy? The guy who does all the stretching, the sports stuff. I thought he was a bit of a mental coach as well, but maybe I'm mistaken. But maybe they need to work on that. They're always saying, we're investing more into our LEC structure or facility. They have the new offices in Berlin and stuff like that. Fab, yeah. So I don't know. Is all this investment being put at the right place, or are there still some stuff that needs to be considered that they need to manage? It's really hard to tell, to be honest, because from my perspective, these losses were just so sudden. We looked so in control in our first game against G2. We looked amazing in our first two games against Rogue. It looked like it was already done. Like the series against Rogue was going to be a 3-0 and we were going to smooth cruise to the final. And it's just like an absolute insane collapse from there on. And the fact here's another thing. The fact that they aren't able to communicate properly and see, here's exactly what happened. And they have to be a bit cryptic of like, maybe there's changes, maybe there's not changes. Listen, we fucked up. There's been this and this and that. I just wish they were able to tell, listen, this player had problems. I wasn't able to solve them. We're looking to invest in this and this to solve these issues. And just give us some hope. Because for me right now, from my point of view, we're going into summer. I don't know what to expect from us. Like, I don't know what the level we're going to be able to showcase. We're no longer going in as really the favorites, in my opinion. But with that said, I still kind of want to show the silver lining. So I know maybe most of you guys don't necessarily follow Dota 2. I literally watch all the games. Even the games I don't play, I don't understand. I'm still trying to support the guys and see how well they're doing. Dota is doing rather well. Well, we lost today, but apparently the team's very good. If Toka ever tunes in, maybe he can confirm. Maybe if you're watching on YouTube, Toka, leave a comment about what's the kind of situation with the Dota 2. But they've qualified to a major event, so that's a positive. That's a positive with a team that's somewhat new, but they seem to have promising players. And obviously we have the boys at our academy team, Fnatic Team Kesso, who just won the LVP. So we did win a trophy on the regional league, and who are doing okay so far at EUM. They are given as one of the favorites. Some of the players we have on there are insanely good. If you don't watch Fnatic Team Queso, you have to watch our top laner, Oscarinin. This guy is an absolute mad lad. He is the Korean Jace. It's crazy. It's crazy. I hope. I mean, so I'm saying this not wanting to like kick Wunder out whatsoever, but if we ever lose Wunder, if it's not working out, I genuinely hope, and maybe I'm going full copium here, that we keep Oscar and we put him in LEC, and I hope the level that he's showing in LVP will be the same transferred into LEC. Yeah, I believe this guy has insane potential, and I really, really hope that we genuinely use our academy as our sort of pool of up and coming players, and if let's say Upset doesn't want to play with us anymore next year, we get Bean. If we do kick Razork somehow and we can't get an LEC player, we get Maxi. That if Wunder leaves, we get Oscar. I mean, stuff like this, and that we don't have to sell him to friggin' Astralis of all teams, per Dashor, this guy. He's done so well for the few weeks he was with us in Rising, and then he gets pushed onto the big stage on a team like Astralis did. Feels bad. But yeah, that's about all the stuff I wanted to mention about the org results. Let's talk about the fans. The fans have been vocal on Twitter, on Reddit, and about some of the people that you're seeing here, Pete and Davard. And I wanted to cover some of this and give my point of view. So, I'm not necessarily going to take some of the talking points, but I understand that obviously there's a lot of frustration, as I mentioned. I'm going to open my window. I'm sorry if there's some noise. I live next to a busy street, but it's very hot today. I understand some of the frustration of not being able to win, being without a trophy or a victory for many years, especially in the LEC, or the League of Legends team, which obviously is the most popular one. That it doesn't feel like we have anything or anyone to turn our frustration towards. And it's almost coming down to a clash between Fnatic fan bases, It's in those who are very passionate, those who are maybe a bit more mature and composed, and other people who are just, maybe not that involved and like, screw it, Fnatic is too much of a heartache. I'm gonna go to a different org, and other elements that I'm gonna mention maybe a bit further in this talk show is some of the interactions that we have with the players, org representatives like CEOs and others, and the work that's actually being done by people from Fnatic. And I think we need to consider both to be really fair to all of these people, right? So it's true that it feels like there's a bit of a separation between what the fans want, what the support that they're providing, and the disappointments that keep on coming. Now, obviously, I think it's been exponential this year with their most popular game in League of Legends, where there's a lot of expectations. People were like, this is it. This is our key to go back to the top, to finally lift that trophy, to stop playing second fiddle to G2, our biggest rivals, and everything just switched itself within a matter of a few weeks, and people are like, what the hell? What just happened? What just happened? And people kind of snapped, which I can understand, because it just becomes too much at one point. And for some younger fans who, maybe Fnatic is a massive part of their lives, they feel like there's a big hole for them. For me specifically, I'm very passionate about Fnatic, and I genuinely get bummed out when we lose. And I had to take time off social media when I just spent a lot of time on Twitter to know what's going on in terms of esports, to stay updated when we lost, because I was so annoyed and I just couldn't see any content related to LEC, Fnatic, or even worse, G2. But I just couldn't stand the fact that I had to face this disappointment again. And there is no content. I haven't watched the YouTube content since our loss against Rogue, because it's too heartbreaking for me. Like, I'll probably watch it a few weeks then, maybe when MSI starts, when I'm definitely gone through this and I don't care, and I'm moving forward. But for me right now, I'm like, I can't watch this. It's just gonna annoy me so much and gonna put me under so much like stress and anxiety. I'm like, dude, let's keep that for another day, and that's it. But for some other people, who are still engaging online, they have to put that frustration out, and it creates the situations that we're seeing, where there's long-time fans who feel like they need to write tweet longers. On the Reddit channel, you have people who are just sending all types of comments and suggestions as if they're really going to have an input and an impact on what the team does. Like, you're just a fan, and at the end of the day, and that's why I put stuff about entitlement, is that obviously it's part of sports, in general, in the competition, to have losses. Not everyone can win, and it does suck that we have to wait again and again. And so we can't request teams to win. We can just like support them and really hope they win, but you can't say you have to win at all cost, and then throw our toys out of the pram when it's not happening. The thing is that the how would I call this? The interactions with fans, when there's a lot of support that's given, and there's a lack of return of like, thank you for your support, of acknowledging the support from fans, of like, we're sorry for disappointing you again. Truly, this was a moment of just please continue supporting our boys, and thank you for your time and your support and the love you've been pouring into our team this split. We're gonna try our hardest next season, stuff like this. I've put Haley Sang's post because that's maybe there's other ones you can find. Maybe I'd be happy to watch them, but this is the only post I've seen from a player who was like, thank you for the support and sorry for the disappointment and losses, and we're not letting go, we're trying harder. Other players haven't really done this. What's happened is that because of that, there's also had backlash on the content creators who kind of got swooped in all of this. I don't know if I should call it drama, but sort of madness, and the sort of angry group of people who became very vocal. And I just wanted to take the time to point out two things. First of all, I don't think it's fair to point the fingers at guys like Pete and Davard. They're not responsible for the team's performances, right? And they can't just do what they want in terms of the content they put out, especially when it comes to losses, right? Davard can't just decide what he wants to tweet. At least that's what I believe, right? I would think that when you're part of a big org like Fnatic, that it's not just Davard behind the Fnatic account. There has to be probably some copywriting behind, some proofreading, a specific wording and communication strategy. And if let's say, like, I don't know, this is just me, this is pure speculation, but I've had the chance to interact with Davard. He's helped me last year, put the podcast on the Always Fnatic channel. He was super cool with it. He was even promoting it through the Always Fnatic Twitter. This guy is a high standard guy. You know, like you cannot fault him. You cannot fault him, and he's definitely done a lot of content on Twitter, and he's posted. For me, like he's with the type of tweets he's put, like the bangers, the photoshops and stuff like this, he's given like a better brand for Fnatic on Twitter, at least, you know. Like before, we were the very like standard, yes, we're very respectful, Fnatic, handshaking, good fight, you know, GGs. And Davard, you know, he's bringing the teeth out a little bit. You know, he's biting. He's memeing super hard, even if it backlashes. You know, he's going in. He doesn't care. He's not thinking twice about saying, oh, you know, should I post this this tweet who might be a bit controversial. Like when he tweeted that thing about Vitality getting kicked out, about the scrims. I'm guessing it would be him, but I'm gonna say it's the team, so he's part of it. But the previous Fnatic would have never done that. They would have never like posted a banger about a team that they weren't facing that day, about stuff that was mentioned indirectly on like streams from those players, right? It's not like it was official content by the LEC or stuff like this. It was YouTube channels who repost snippets of streams, and then obviously it just snowballed into rumors, memes and stuff like this, and he jumped on that and he created that content. That was super funny in my opinion. I don't know about you guys, but I thought it was absolutely hilarious. And it doesn't matter if in the end you know, we lose and you bite your fingers of like, well, fuck, that tweet didn't age well. At least we're defending ourselves. At least we're fighting. At least we're being daring, you know. And if we're talking about Pete, man, Pete, he's been with the team for like what, 3-4 years now, and he's just been posting top-notch content. Like, okay, so I'll be honest, I don't necessarily watch a lot of content from other organizations, but I can easily bet that his content is one of the best out of any esports organization. The variety, the interactions that he's offering with the players, whether it be like, you know, official sort of YouTube format or the post game interviews on the Instagram, which I think is super cool. Or when he does, you know, specific series like Fnatic Teaches Noob, when he does brand activation for like BMW and stuff like that. Like, he's super inventive. He's literally, okay, get this, guys. He's brought us back. For people who've been watching Fnatic for the longest time, there was this series called Legends in Action, and it had different names, where it was very long formats about behind the scenes players. There was an awesome series about the players in 2015 that really showed you all the emotions that went into the game, the prep, the personalities, and that was one of the reasons why the 2015 team was so popular. Obviously, the victories and the 18-0s and semi-finals of Worlds did contribute, but we got to see the little, you know, love circles with the Hoonies and the Rainovers and the Febivins. We had Yellow Star in there. We had Reckless. It was an amazing little family. We were allowed to be open the door and to look inside, right? And then that content kind of disappeared because it takes a lot of time to produce. You have to have the players take some time, because they were even having obviously the players like comment, take some time to give you know, their thoughts about what happened during the day, the games whatsoever. And there, Pete, in a very smart way, managed to showcase. Managed to produce a content that showcased the players' lives between the games and before starting, and how they were preparing and how they were bantering between each other, and then have the highlights intertwined in that content, which is super great, because for him, I guess it takes a bit less time, and he's still offering premium content to the fan base of like, hey, I'm lifting the curtain on what's happening behind the scenes, and you're getting some form of life of actions. You get to see the players, have fun with each other, exchanging, so you can see exactly the sort of environment the players are in, and it's super, and the mindset they're going into the game, even after the losses. It's super interesting to see how players react after losses to. Even as a fan, to say, okay, they lost, but it looks like they're taking it well. They're not completely mentally boomed. They're talking about their losses. When they do their little group sessions of like what went well, what they need to improve. I think that's super interesting, right? So, all in all, so that's for me personally. I just want to give a big shout out to Pete and Davard in the first place. I think these guys have been incredible additions to Fnatic. They've shown their worth over and over. And I think it sucks when some of our fan base maybe target them or indirectly target them where they feel that they're being the subject of some of the complaints from the fans, right? When they're really trying their best to produce content for the fans. And at the same time, them being on the front end, it's like, well, they're the ones who are taking all the brunt of the criticism because they're literally putting their faces on the content, and they're, in a sense, being a bit of the face of Fnatic today. So I think it's really uncool that we target them when the issue is completely anywhere else. And, it's... while there are some concerns, there are some frustrations, I think we really need to be careful about the people who are really trying, who are absolute fans of the organizations, because these people can just say, you know what, the fans don't appreciate it, fuck it, I'm leaving. And probably go to G2. Like, I'm pretty sure that, and I actually know Carlos really likes Pete and Davard. Like, he's commented on their content, and he's a fan. I'm sure he'd be super happy to have them part of the team. They've just brought in Lord Flap. Lord Flap, for you guys who don't know, he's been a very long time fan as well. He's tried to submit stuff to Fnatic. I don't know what. I'm not sure what type of content. It seems to be stuff about fan interaction and improving the sort of ecosystem between the org and the fans, and creating a real community. And it seems that G2 heard of his plans, and he went over there. You're talking about a guy who's devoted himself for Fnatic for so long, and in the end decided, you know what, fuck it, I want to do my project, and I'm going to do it with the team I have always considered a long-time rival, but he's so passionate about it. And whatever you think of the guy, maybe you don't agree of what he does, the way he expresses himself on Twitter, it doesn't matter. That's not what I'm talking about. It's like what he values in esports, in the projects, and the mindset that he has behind it. He just needed a platform, someone to believe in him, and it's a bit disappointing that Fnatic isn't the one who's doing it, or trying at least to assist him in it. I'm not saying Fnatic needs to hire him, but see how Fnatic can sort of assist him in that project to try to build something, and if they do see it works, then maybe they hire him, or maybe they have him as a head of project, something like this. I mean, Lord Flab saw an opportunity and took it, and he was honest about it. Absolutely, and he was absolutely right. He was absolutely right. If I had such a massive project for Fnatic that I cared about, but that was a sort of more global esports project, and you guys know how much I fucking hate Carlos and G2. Like, I cannot stand them. But if I was so passionate and believed in my project, not only to improve an org, but just to improve the esports ecosystem, if that's what I believed behind my project, and there was someone who's reaching out their hand, and it was the org I always hated, I'd be like, fuck. I'm sure he pondered. He was like, damn, this is a weird situation I'm in, but his passion of the industry took over, and he was right to do so. He was absolutely right to do so. And it's disappointing that I mean, I don't know what type of interaction he had with Fnatic. If he actually had the chance to speak with Sam, if he had the chance to speak with anyone from marketing or stuff like. I don't know. I don't know. I can't tell you what happened. What it seems to have happened is that he was rejected, or they didn't follow through, or they were just, or told him they weren't interested. You know, so that's kind of my. I saw you guys typed a bunch of stuff. Let me just read real quick. I don't know why Pete and Doward were involved in this. I thought our frustration was with management. That's what I thought. So I think that's what happened, right? That the frustration was with management. But the thing is, management isn't facing all of this. It's Doward and Pete. They're the ones who are producing the content. They're the ones who are producing the stuff that fans interact with directly. Fans aren't interacting with Sam. And that's going to be the next topic, by the way. So I'm already like doing a sort of a prequel here. But Sam posts the occasional tweet and looks super disconnected. Davard is the one who's coming onto the Discord, who's posting bangers, who's interacting, who's liking people's tweets. P is the one who's taking feedback, who's sharing his content directly on the channels, and he's absolutely right to do so, by the way. Because, and I don't think he should have to ask mods permission, as I've seen on the Fnatic Discord, to post it, and he's done this because of the backlash he's gotten, which I think is absolutely disgusting. It's absolutely disgusting. Pete should have the absolute right to say, I've taken time to produce content for you guys. Here it is. Here's a little description. Please like and give me some feedback. He's not here to do a bloody Q&A or interact. This guy is absolutely insanely busy. He is working with a team, producing content almost around the clock, from what I understand. He doesn't have time to like, I just produced a video, guys. I'm just gonna take a little 24-hour chill pill. I'm pretty sure he's already on the next project, right? The guy, how long do you think a video takes to make? Like, shooting it, taking the time, getting the players together, working on the subject of the video, on the content, putting the video together with the team and special editing and all the stuff that goes behind, and rendering it and building the scenarios. You think that's done within a couple of hours? Like, I'm pretty sure he has to synchronize with the team, like, oh, okay, we have to do this and this content. Because there's content that I think he wants to produce, and then there's content that he has to produce in regards to the brands and the sponsors. Fnatic has, so like, brand activation, BMW, Hisense, ViewSonic, stuff like this. Like, he has to do it, because that's part of the contract of, like, well, the sponsor, so you have to create content around these brands and do something that's a bit original, of not just say, hey, this is a paid brand video, by the way, look, oh my god, what an amazing screen monitor, ViewSonic, thank you very much. You have to build something around that and then involve the brand into it, without it just being, oh, this video is sponsored by the Raid Shadow Legends, get your discount with code Fnatic, or that's, he's doing it in a super smart way. And very original, that actually makes you want to engage with the brand. Like, so maybe because I'm a bit of a boomer, but I've literally started looking into Hisense stuff, like fridges and stuff like this, because of the content they've produced, right? So I guess it's working, But yeah, I mean, yeah. Blah blah blah. What are you guys saying? So his management, maybe he got a bit of the heat when he tweeted that he won't be doing content no more. Therefore, fans are ungrateful. It was more about his supposed attitude when sending links. But yeah, P is literally the face. I mean, and I guess for the most popular game, which gets to be kind of the face of Fnatic, yeah, he's definitely one of the front men. I definitely agree. Life of Legends, yeah. Until 2019, I liked our vids. Oh, really? You don't like the videos? That's surprising. Cookie, if you're still here, can you tell me a bit more about what you don't? Oh, what you like less about the current videos? Is it the format whatsoever? Because I'm surprised, you know. I mean, obviously not everyone has to like the videos or the content, but Ploppy, my shitty stuff takes 10 hours total for the shorter ones. No, you're the okay, guys. This is a shout out to Ploppy's content. You guys, you have to watch his content. It's absolutely hilarious. If you do not end up laughing and crying at the end, you're not getting it. He's an absolute genius. He's an absolute genius. I'll probably link some of his channel in on the YouTube VOD, because you guys need to check this. It's the mind that goes into the banter of these videos is top grade, guys. It's top grade. Maybe it's just my type of humor and whatsoever, but oh man, it's so good. It's really, really good. You have to watch his content. And I'm not the only one who likes it. Every time they post it, everyone says it's a banger. So it's yeah, the channel. I mean, you know, it's, as you said, it takes time to do it. So if you're working or studying on the side, you know, it is what it is. So what you're saying, Cookie, you like the old content more, like players being asking questions to other quizzes in general, or like, remember the video of the hospital? We don't do those anymore. The video of the hospital? You mean the Gucci thing? The Fnatic Teach Noob series very boring. Really? Ah, man. I mean, you know, maybe. What about the highlights videos or the voice comps? Do you watch those, or is that the BMW ones? That was funny too. You have any content, any preference you may have on that? The voice comms he has no control over. I mean, I don't know. I've no idea about this, but I think he's still. No, he doesn't control them, but the way it's showcased with like the little faces and stuff like this. Like he just post a video long of just voice comps, but obviously there's editing, there's a presentation. And what about the highlights? The highlights, there's more content, right? I mean, this there's more. If we're really talking about personal input. Okay. Some points for the graphics and editing and presentation. But what about the highlights? The highlight videos? Do you have any? Do you even watch them? Because I think the highlights videos are probably his best regular content, I would say. And the Fnatic teaches Noob, I think it's a super opportunity to get to see the players as well. But I mean, they also give some good advice. So you know, for aspiring elo climbers or whatever you want to call it, I think they're pretty cool. A sign quiz with guessing the champs in the car. Oh, right. I'm okay. I see. Okay, fair enough. How did this turn into Fnatic cookie likes? Listen, it's a podcast for the people, dude. This is the real community content, guys. This is where it is. Speaking of which, actually, Floppy, do you want to jump in by any chance? If you wanna, you told me you maybe wanted to talk about fan interactions, or do you want to talk about the next subject with Sam? Which one? Which one do you want to do? No one's typing much. Listen, I'm sorry. This is not XQC channel or a podcast where I can just get 100,000 people on. There's a little simple Matska on his little platform waiting for maybe the one or two guys who actually care about the content to come on there. You're here. Yeah. So I mean, what do you want to do, Ploppy? Do you wanna? I told her good. Oh, okay. Okay. Fair enough. Fair enough. Oh, in that case, maybe maybe the Sam stuff that I'm gonna mention here. Maybe you'll have another perspective whatsoever. But yeah, Sam Matthews, where art thou, our dear CEO? Now, what do we have here? We have a bunch of pictures. What does it mean? The mystery. What is going on? Well, let me take you through some of the illustrations here. Well, first of all, Twitter. Sam on Twitter, it's not good. It is not good. His Twitter game is super poor, dude. I don't know if I'm the only one who thinks this, but it's just, man, he needs to get a PR guy to help him with the content that he's posting. Now, I'm not asking him to be an ocelote whatsoever, but I was talking about this with someone the other day. When you look at people with, sorry, my mind's going. If you're looking at someone who's just recently sort of got into Twitter representation, which is T1 CEO Joe Marsh, right? Now, Joe Marsh has been around for some time, but he's for the last 2 or 3 years now been the CEO of T1. And what's the name that Joe Marsh is being given now? Do you guys know what's his name on Twitter? Like, what's the nickname? There we go. What's the nickname that he's being given on Twitter? Do you guys know? For Joe Marsh, CEO of T1. This is a question for you guys who are typing. You don't know? I'm challenging anyone. Okay, so you guys don't know what's going on. No, not Dr. Joe Marsh. He's called CEO of Based. Now that's the credibility, that's the representation that he has. Now, Joe Marsh has had a strong Twitter presence for only a couple of years, especially as the face of T1. And already has that representation. People are like, oh, he's the CEO of Base. Well, obviously, he's at the head of one of the most popular and successful orgs. But man, the way he conducts his Twitter, the way he interacts and stuff like this, people are someone to look up to, say, oh, damn, this guy is fucking rocking it, dude. He is so cool. I want to be fan of T1 because of Joe Marsh. Now, you look at Sam's Twitter. Actually, let me pull up Sam's Twitter. Let me pull up his Twitter. Let's see. Sam Matthews. There we go. Sam Matthews. Okay, so if we take his last tweets. So his last tweet was 2 days ago. Actually, let me go into tweets and replies. Oh, we'll see his full interactions. Okay, so he's answering some fans about the Bolt. He retweets something about Alice Deering, who is the Olympian who visited the Fnatic HQ, where he's thanking her to be a fan. It's very formal. He retweets the Fnatic success. There's obviously his reply to the tweet longer, and a lot of retweets. Yeah, and some stuff about, come on guys, we can do it. Reverse sweep. Yeah, it's so formal. It feels okay. I don't know how you guys feel about it. When I look at Sam tweeting, it doesn't feel like it's a guy who's in esports. It looks like a guy who's looking from a distance an org that he's just bought something like this, and he's like, let's go, you League of Legends players. You can do it. Get the win. It doesn't feel like he knows what he's talking about or what's happening. He knows that there are victories and there are losses. And that's it. It doesn't feel like you're talking about a guy who's a fan of esports. Sam Matthews built this fucking thing in 2004. And he built it pretty fucking bootstrap. Like, his story is that he sold his car to get the players to travel to an event. This guy has been at the fucking root of all of this. How does he feel so fucking disconnected in his tweets? It's so weird. It doesn't feel like it's a guy that has passion. I don't know, maybe it's recency bias, but it just feels like he's not living and breathing Fnatic in terms of the esports side of things, right? Some tweeting is either cringe or odd. Well, yeah, here's another thing. And that's why I put the NFT. Is that the way Sam has been conducting the org feels more product focused than fan focused. NFTs, gear, merch. I feel like I'm going through more type forms to give feedback about merch and stuff like this than actually getting stuff to interact with the org or incentives to, do stuff. And it's weird. Now, I'm going to be transparent and honest. I invested in the Pioneer. I threw for $400 at the face of Fnatic because I want it all. I want all the Fnatic interaction. I want all the Fnatic content. I'm a massive Fnatic fan. I'm lucky to have the budget for it, so I went for it. But it kind of sucks that some level of interactions has to be monetized, when you could have it probably in a natural way, or not. And I'm not even going to say about, it doesn't necessarily have to be an NFT. That's like a whole other conversation. I'm not necessarily a fan of an NFT. I think there are good applications probably to the NFT. I don't know enough about it. For me, it's not necessarily about the NFT more than the being part of like a sort of official fan club, if that makes sense, even though I don't feel it's fucking necessary. But I like what Cloud9 does with Stratus. I like what Liquid does with Liquid Plus, and I've been hoping that Fnatic does something similar, right? It had to go for NFTs. That's another debate. Did I hope that it hadn't had to go through NFTs? Yes, I put it in the friggin' feedback of the type form at the end of like, do you have any elements to say as like, please do not make this an NFT? But it's pretty clear that they were going to go to an NFT. I got invited to that little presentation Discord thingy, and when you said it was an NFT, I was like, wow, okay, I guess, I've been critical of NFTs before. I was very critical about G2. I memed about them. I guess it was sold properly to me. I just hope I don't get a bad surprise. I'm still waiting for NFTs to be a bit more of a positive thing, but still, I invested in it. I'm not saying this. I'm not bashing on it. The thing I'm bashing on is that I feel like we're putting like some barriers or structure stuff for like natural organic interaction with the organization, right? And because of that, and that's a sentiment I definitely follow, is that there's been a lot of disconnecting with the fans. The picture that you see here is the fan gathering for Fnatic in 2019, right? And I don't know about this event in particular, but I know for different events that I've participated in, that other fans participated in, where Sam Matthews was there, whether it be a loss or a win, he didn't go out of his way to approach the fans and talk to them. Whereas, I'm obviously going to mention Carlos, but also Romain, when he was part of UOL, you could see him interact with the UOL fan club, which was called Heart something, right? I can't remember. If you guys know, like if you were watching at the time, there's this massive UOL fan club, and Roman would always go like towards him and interact. And Sam, it doesn't feel like Sam really has done this. Or maybe he's done this in a very like structured, oh, we planned the event, so I will be there and I'll be able to show myself. But he hasn't done this organically, in the sense that he's behind the scenes, the fans are right there, it's a win or a loss, but at least you're going out there in front of them and saying, hey, just wanted to take the time to thank you guys for your support. Here's a bunch of wristbands or pin badges that we have in merch. Thought I'd give this. And he doesn't even have to give merch. Just give some appreciation to the fan base. And sometimes you might write it on a tweet. But the tweet is a tweet, dude. We need more tangible actions from him. You know? And it's hard to feel like, first of all, he's actually the face of Fnatic, when it doesn't feel like he's his own face. Like, he feels like so superfluous, and his focus is on like the brands and stuff like this. So, oh, okay, thank you, Kiki. I see the video. Right. Oh yeah, that was funny. Yeah. Okay, I get you now. Yeah. It's like, it feels like it's so much more focused with the products that are being put out, the new technology. I mean, I don't know if you guys were there. Was that around 2015, 2016, maybe 2017? There was Sansar, which was a sort of virtual reality. I guess the premises of the metaverse, where he created like a special, augmented reality space for fans, and that really never picked up. And then there was the Fnatic Nation app, which collapsed and didn't go anywhere. And now there's the NFT. Whereas like, he's just thinking about projects by projects instead of thinking about the organic stuff and just going to the fans, just being more aligned with them. And my trouble is, I don't feel like it's something he's able to do naturally, because he doesn't perceive it like this. It feels much more like he's perceiving his fan base like customers, like people who are going to engage with his brand, and instead of engaging with the competitive aspect of his org, if that makes sense. And obviously, you can say, well, they're not going to monetize themselves. They need to sell stuff. First of all, so I've read this a couple of places, like, the players in the org doesn't live without the fans. We pay the salaries. Your merch purchases and gears and whatsoever pay fuck all of a percentage of operating the org, paying the salaries, and whatever stuff that comes with it. It's all investments, venture capital, whatever. And that's why most of the orgs are losing money, because there's a lot of costs and there's very to no profit behind it. So don't think you buying the jersey every year is like, hey, Wunder, you take that banknote from me and you get that good KD, man. There you go. Let me get you a tenner right here. There you go. You know, that's on me, lad. That's on me. No problem. Okay, you go in now. I'll even buy a pair of joggers if that makes you play harder. That is not how it happens. Okay? You bring your support, sure. You bring your passion. You give that dynamic behind the org. But you are not paying the salaries with your merch purchases. Okay? There's millions being put in every year into these organizations, and they're still losing money. They would need to sell to a much higher level to be profitable, or revisit some of their operations. Like, I'm pretty sure if Fnatic stopped working on gear and other stuff, they'd probably make their money back. And, some of the stuff that's been said about ever since they started developing gear, it feels like they've invested a bit less on the players, and it feels like the competitive aspect of Fnatic has kind of dwindled to give more space to all of the peripherals and technology project and stuff like this. And one thing that I read on the Discord, by the way, which kind of disappointed me and shocked me, was that I can't remember who said this, but it's like, oh, we are a performance brand. We are not an esports organization with merch. I was like, what does that even mean? How can you be a performance brand when first of all you're not even able to perform? You've been struggling to lift a single cup in God knows how many years. Oh sure, okay, we won the LVP. That's like a minor region league. I mean, it's not even one of our bigger titles like League of Legends or Counter-Strike, right? Disregard Valorant, who's gaining some pace. I'd still say it's a tier 2 esports, right? But still, well, performance brand because you're improving on your technology and maybe some of your merch. By the way, I've seen some of the feedback on the merch is very mixed as well. Some people think it's better, some people think it's worse. So even there, you don't even have a consensus on that aspect. And on the other side is that where's the focus and the space for your players, you know? Now, granted that there's been some work done at least for the LEC to get a very competitive LEC team and LVP team as well. I'm not saying they didn't put in the work, but it's like people are like going, oh well, they need a supporting staff and they need this and need that. I don't know how true it is, but if that's the case, like how is it that we're still able to stumble for what seems to be constant issues that we have every year of like mental breakdowns and tilting and whatsoever? That's despite the caliber of players that we have, we're not able to get number 1, man. And it's always G2 is in front of us as well. It's always the same guys. Like if we take a full comparison of the situation of G2 is a brand who's come into the scene way after us. We've been there from the start. We should be the, speaking of NFTs, we should be the pioneers. We should be the people, the org people look up to, and we should be setting the example. G2 is doing that. G2 has top teams in every possible game they're playing in. They have the best LEC team in terms of results, right? And best LEC org in terms of results. They have one of the top CSGO teams. If I had the rankings, let me just have a look at the rankings again. Yeah, G2 is top 4 CSGO, right? And they just brought in some new players, and they just signed one of the most promising young guys in the name of Monacy. So like they have promising stuff to give to their fan base of saying, hey, maybe we're not getting the results now, but look at the people we have, man. Right. Now we can't say that about CSGO. We can say this about LEC, but the performance aren't there, obviously. Valorant, they're doing really well. They beat us last time, and they're one of the top teams. They're top 2 EMEA teams. I believe they're also in Rocket League, and they won recently a Rocket League tournament. Like they are getting trophies left, right, and center, and they've arrived after us. And is the only difference the fact that it's Carlos that's at the head? So he's been a player himself. He knows what it takes to be competitive, to be at the top. Is that it? Is the only difference that the industry has shifted so much that Sam has not kept up. He was good at the time when it was being built, and he had that advantage at the time. And now he's lost his advantage because he's put his focus in the wrong place. And now he's getting beat by people who are focusing on the right elements of an organization and don't even have to try to take over. Like if you look at the LEC, right, which I think is the most popular game that everyone knows Fnatic for, the first year G2 comes in, they took over and they've been winning ever since, bar 2018 and last year 2021. They have all the trophies. They are the only European team that has won MSI. And they've gone to World Finals. They've took one of our best player caps and he's signed for 4 extra years. Hello? Why is this not happening for us? How are we not able to be ahead of all of these moves? How are we taking the brunt of their actions and we're scrapping for results? Is it Sam's fault? How much does he impact the organization? How does he manage the operations? What's his actual focus? And again, when you see him tweet, when you see him do stuff, it doesn't feel like he's disappointed. And you can say, oh, we're trying, but we're not seeing any evidence of this happening. And we've put a picture of Karn, because speaking of someone who's been a competitor, and a competitor for the org he's working for, I think Karn might be the guy. He needs to be the guy who takes over. Because this guy, I haven't had the chance to meet him, but one of my good friends, two good friends of mine have met him. One of them works at Ubisoft in the Rainbow Six department in the esports part, and there was a big, when they started doing the esports thing, he actually met Karn. He was like, Karn is a super passionate guy. He lives and breathes Fnatic. You're in between good hands. And you've seen him go on the CSGO podcast to talk about what was happening with the team. So at least, whatever he said, some people said it was a bit of a PR response, but at least he took the time to explain what was happening, the plans and stuff like this. And be on the forefront and be decisive about it and say, okay, we're doing this next week, no problem. I'll be on your podcast and I'll give some insight about where we're going. He came into the CSGO channel to talk with the fans for being disappointed and a bit lost with the decisions that were being made. And, it's in some situations, it feels like he's the better guy to represent all of our games. He's co-owner, but he's also chief gaming officer. So he has some form of executive power on the competitive aspect of the org, but I feel like he could have definitely more impact, online and stuff like this. But yeah, it's just so weird. It's just so weird that Fnatic, that has been an org at the top for so many years, just has this part of around 2016, 2017, where we just fumbled the ball super hard, and there hasn't been a way up since. We had a little spark in 2018 where it felt like we were coming back, both in League and Counter-Strike, where I believe we won, is it IM Cologne? Or some other one, I can't remember. Let me see if I can find it. I'm not always super well versed in was it IM? Why is it not giving me? Katowice, sorry, Katowice. But yeah. So, what I want to add. People are honking. Is there an accident? What is going on? I don't know. I'm just gonna shut the window. But yeah, Sam has maybe lost his passion. I want to say it's not the case, because I still think he has passion for it. I think he doesn't understand the industry as it is right now. He just thinks it's about putting more technology in and getting NFTs and virtual reality and some other shit. I think he's just lost his focus on the competitive aspects. And the competitive aspect just comes second. He has all this stuff that he's trying to sell to us, that he's focused on this. Oh, look at the new gear. Look at the new mouse pad. Look at our new clothing line. Okay, but can we look at the new trophies though? You know. But yeah. Floppy, I don't know if you wanted to add anything on this, or anyone else for that matter. I try to cover as much, but if you guys have anything else you wanna add, if you're still there, obviously, maybe it's disappeared. Sansar was a great idea that sucked. Yes, just like the Fnatic Nation app, it went nowhere, and it disappeared. I think a CEO doesn't have to do it because others do it, especially Carlos, who's polarizing this. Don't mean you have to. I agree. I think I dislike it is present like a fan thing, which is just talking. Yeah. Scheme of having ownership and power of Fnatic and the NFTs makes me feel we have money issues. I mean, most esports are not profitable. I don't think we have money issues. It's just they're finding new ways of revenues, and NFTs are part of it. On the fair side, I would say, I don't think they're gonna make any profit. I think the NFTs is a money loss situation. For everything that they're gonna give for a one-time purchase, they're gonna get a lot of money on the short term. But on the deliverables over the years, that's gonna cost them a fuckload of money. So they're probably gonna have some venture capital money to come in and help them. Products are not worth as far as I like the gear products. Most of my peripherals I use are gear, and like the Bolt is a very good mouse. For the price point of €80. I think it's very decent, and I like the mouse pad, the Dash. I think it's very, very comfortable. I had the other one. Like I've had different generations of Fnatic gear products, and I think they're very good. They're product focused because we have money issues. I don't think we have money issues. Public personality does not have to represent passion for something. Well, I don't know, for an esports org. But yeah, well, guys, if you don't have necessarily anything that you would like to add, let me just move on forward because it's almost like a 2-hour podcast. But it's cool. It's cool that we have this conversation. Last point is actually what's next, right? What really needs to be changed? So we've gone over a few elements, right? I think if we had to, just kind of do some bullet points here, and I don't know if you guys agree or maybe you want to add stuff, is that first of all, we need maybe a bit better communication from the top representatives of Fnatic org. More appreciation, I'd say, of like thanking us for the support, especially when we're just not getting a satisfactory end to our support. There's a lot of frustration that happens of like, God, this has to be the year. This has to be the year. We have an amazing team. This has to be the year. What's happening? We're losing. Fuck. CSGO, we're losing one of our best players and we have nothing to focus on. Shit. Valorant, we're looking promising. We're still not succeeding. Oh shit, G2's in front of us again. Fuck me. Okay, cool. Good stuff. And on this, here's the thing, right? If there were victories and the NFTs on the side, it wouldn't be an issue. But the thing is that I can understand that they still want to push NFTs, whatever the results are. But the thing is that it's getting a worse aspect because of the reputation of NFTs, obviously. But on the other side, it's like it feels like they're not focusing on the right stuff. It's like, we're lost, but have you seen our NFTs and our new gear and our new merch and stuff like this? Forget about the losses. I understand that these things have to live next to each other, but I feel there's a better way of putting this out there. I don't know. I'm not an expert, but yeah. You don't care about the appreciation. I just want the org to be successful. I mean, here's the thing, right? Oh no, maybe that's not the best. it sucks that we don't win, right? But we if it should be fine for us to not win and still feel it's okay to not win, if that makes sense. I feel that's what's going on with G2. I know I'm doing a lot of parallels with G2. I'm not saying I want us to be G2, but I want to recognize some of the stuff G2 does that is pretty good. And, even though they're memeing stuff like this, because they have a face that represents the org, which is Carlos, there's something where they can turn their frustration to and have some answers. And if it's like, even if the frustration is just fuck you, Carlos, and fuck your team, he's like, yeah, sure, fuck me, I'm right here, I'm the dummy, And I think what's happening right now is because they're the only guys who are on the front of it, which are guys like Davard and Pete, they're the ones who are getting the blame or getting under the shots when they don't deserve it, right? Appreciation by hiring people like Lord Flaw. Like, that's another thing, right? It's not even like hiring him, but at least maybe acknowledge him his project and at least try to see if it works. Because if whatever it was his project he's working on does with G2 and catapults them to another level, if I was Sam, I would just slap myself to the end of time, right? Especially if it's like fan engagement stuff. I don't know. I don't need to hear thank you. Well, I don't know if necessarily everyone agrees with that. I think it's kind of nice when you're fucking down in the dumps after losing 0-3 against your rivals, even though you were super hyped about potentially lifting the trophy, and it's like, fuck me, man, this is the worst day of my life, and I'm just so disgusted that I want to leave. And it is not even some respite of like, listen guys, we sucked, but we just want to take the time to appreciate your support. We hear your frustration, we see it, we're as disappointed as you are, but we see your support, and we hope you can continue to support us despite continuous disappointments. We are not letting go. We're going to continue. And when you put it under that context of like, we're going to continue to keep fighting, instead of like, we lost, we'll see you in summer, that's super tiring, dude. It's like, yeah, we hear it every year, but if you at least take the time to acknowledge your fan base and say, hey, it fucking sucks to lose again, and we hear you, we are with you. Here's the thing, we are with you, and it's not the org and the fan base, but it actually feels like we are together in this. And there's just feel like there's the fans supporting, and there's the org just, yeah, we're trying, guys, but instead of being, hey guys, I'm walking towards you, I'm giving you a big hug, it fucking sucks, our players are super sad, we're actually trying, but thank you, man. That's how I perceive it. I understand that everyone, is looking for a thank you and just wants trophies. But I think other people would actually like to say, be recognized for their, especially, for younger guys who really give their all for Fnatic because it's a big part of their life. They're like, yo, notice me, man. I'm here. I've been giving you the love, the support. Why are we not winning? And if we're not winning, can you at least just tell me it's going to be okay, man? Tell me, just acknowledge me. I can't just dispense support for free forever. I need at least some comfort of like saying, yo man, I'm sorry we lost, but we really appreciate your support, and we're really trying to, be at the size of your standards. We're really trying to fit your standards and give you that trophy. But we literally appreciate your support, and we would be nothing without your support, and we really appreciate you guys being behind us behind these rough times, and still trying super hard, keeping your chin up. Because man, it is super rough to continue supporting an org year after year after year when you're not getting any satisfaction. You know? Like you're trying your hardest. You're saying, "Hey, I'm going to continue supporting you guys." Because it sucks when you feel like, you know what? I can't do it anymore. I can't support you guys. And you don't necessarily go to a different team, you just stop supporting. Because in the end, you kind of lose your passion of like, well, I'm a fan of the LEC, I'm a fan of esports because I have a team that I support in particular. You know? Like if you look at football, I don't think there's a lot of people who are just fan of football of like, I enjoy the game of football. They enjoy football through a team they support, right? And maybe I'm completely wrong on that one, but that's how I perceive it. Like, I think you enjoy sports and entertainment through your fandom of an org, a player, a person. You know? At least I think that's how it is. I think that's how it is. I doubt. I mean, there probably is people who watch esports without necessarily supporting anyone, but I think they're a very, very small part of this. I think most of the esports fan have a team they support. And then if you don't have the energy to support them anymore, and it's like, do I even care about watching the games? You know? Because that's what drives you to watch the games, right? Is that you watch it for your team. And then you watch the other teams because you're like, is my team better than them? So you compare yourself afterwards. And then you see where your team is standing in the rankings. And that's why people tune in. You know? And then when there's a team that does super well, or that has a specific brand, even people who don't support the team are still interested, even though they support a different team. That's why Fnatic and G2 have so many viewers. It's not all the Fnatic and G2 fans, though. It's just everyone that's watching. Because they want to know what's happening. They want to see who the guys from the rivalry are doing. And then it gets more intense for the fans of these particular organizations who are bringing even more hype behind it. Because then there's turbo banter on Twitter. Oh, that's my point of view. Sorry we lost, but thank you. What am I gonna do with this? Well, I think I answered that. For you, maybe it's not resonating, but I think for other people it does. But after losing against G2, no one said anything. Just yes. That's exactly how it felt. It felt like we just turned off everything, and maybe some players came out. I know, like Upset acknowledged the poor performances and G2's performance. We didn't say anything for the fans. Now this isn't a dig for Upset. It's just like, you know, the stuff that's being transmitted to the fans. It's like, okay, cool. I guess we're kind of here. Hello, you know, like if this was like a live event or people there, there'd be, you know, with their little cardboard saying "Go Fnatic" and be like, "We're here, dude. You know, we're the fan base. Can you give us a shout out or something? Like acknowledge us, recognize us." But yeah. So what can we look forward to? Well, this is a screenshot from what Sam said on the Discord. So okay, just if it doesn't appear properly, like I don't know if you'll be watching on mobile, even on YouTube whatsoever. So I'm gonna read it to you guys. Hi everyone, I definitely didn't forget this Discord. I've only been here for the last years, which is obviously our main and official Discord. By the way, Discord has been fan made and is only coming here now for the next few couple of years. How has this man not invested more in his own community on a fan made Discord, mate? This has been fan built, bootstrapped, and you've not even done anything for that. You want to create a community with your NFT stuff? You had literally been given this and been asked by people like from mods and stuff like this to invest into it, to give some help, and you've barely done it. I know Tani, because I've had the chance to talk to her on a few projects, that she's done stuff for the Discord, and she's been like the sort of connection point. But Sam himself is like, me. See what I'm talking about? Recognition. I'm not even talking about recognition, saying a thank you, saying, oh, there's this Discord. Let me actually create an account. You know, the guy who lost technology. How about you get a Discord account and go into your fucking fan base? And we're not gonna bite, mate. We're not gonna bite. And if anyone comes to you and insults you, there's a bunch of mods that are gonna ban him on the spot. You think we're waiting for you with like fucking baseball bats, like, hey fucking Sam, mate, what's this? The fucking LEC team's not winning. Come and meet your fans, mate. If you don't want to do it physically, come and do it virtually. And it fucking sucks that it needs fans completely going bonkers on tweet longers and Reddit and shit like this for you to fucking wake up. And this is what he's mentioning. My goal of joining the FFC was to understand all of our community. You're going to the FFC first before of going on the Discord, which is fan-made. And was the first one to be born, dude. This is the genesis of your Fnatic community. How is it that your first go-to was fucking FFC? All respect to them. They've made an amazing like Discord and community and stuff like this. But man, isn't that a fucking slap to the face to say I'm going to the FFC to understand our community? Mate, we're right here. We've been here for many fucking years. We've done tournaments and shit like this. How is the FFC taking the your first approach? I'm pretty sure, as far as I remember, I was on this Discord since, 2015, 2016, something like this. When it was just starting, when it was still Uno, when he's still there and he was the one building that shit. So I'm sorry, I just got a bit pissed off. As clearly there's a lot of work we need to do to unite and work together as one black and orange community. Right. That's why we're running a town hall on Wednesday evening. So guys, be there. Which will be split into two parts, one for all of our community and one for just key core pioneer key holders. See, here's another thing. I think for the subject matter that you're going to talk about, I don't think you need to divide a community between organic and paid, because part of these key holders who are on there are no Fnatic fans. They're just NFT collectors. And if you guys are in the Discord, you've seen them. They have fuck all to do with Fnatic. The key holders will be more intimate and focused on how we can make sure our members are providing their ideas and feedback on how we can build our offering from a product side, which of the roadmap to prioritize. The product side, man. The fucking product side. Huh? Are providing their ideas and feedback on how we can build our offering from our product side. He doesn't fucking get it, man. It's not about the fucking products. It's about fan acknowledgement and interaction. Fuck the products, Sam. Who cares? Can you put the gear and the merch on the side for a goddamn second? And it doesn't have to be the bloody pioneers. Get your organic fan. You think organic fans who are not paying are not fans? Man, they don't necessarily have the budget if they're I didn't buy merch when I was student or when I was fucking broke looking for a job for over a year and a half. And I was fucking breathing. Right? So that's bullshit. That is bullshit for me. I'm sorry. You cannot put a paywall behind organic interaction and say, oh, it's about product, by the way. Fuck your products, man. I'm a customer, but I'm a fan before anything else. And it's because I'm a fan that I become a customer. And you're taking the problem the other way around. You're not going to make customers, not going to make fans out of customers, sorry. Right? Well, that's not how it works. Someone who doesn't know Fnatic, that sees Fnatic being advertised by some tech guru or whatsoever, and say, oh, by the way, they're an esports org. That's not how passion is created, man. Anyways, More details will be shared on Tuesday and ahead of Wednesday evening. Then I want to address a lot of the comments from the community and mods here and hopefully pave a path for the future which makes everyone feel included in some ways. Now, okay, now man, he's finally addressing the subject, but do you see, in terms of priorities, it's like first we're going to talk about products or pioneer and this part of the paying community, and oh, by the way, all the concerns, that will be addressed. It doesn't feel like it's going to be the core of the conversation. It's like, then I want to address, this should be 80% of the fucking town hall and taking all the questions and the feedback. Hell, even take a snippet of this bloody podcast, Sam, if you're watching right now. I will, you know what, I will post a VOD and I will at Sam and ask him to watch what is now 2 hours of podcast, by the way, and use that for his feedback. And Sam, if you're watching up until now and you're not fed up of my criticism, do not make the product the core of the conversation. Product is not the issue right now, and what the fans are getting mad about. It's about what you're talking about, feeling included in some way, which still doesn't seem very clear on your side. This should be the core of your work at the moment, and this is what you need to resolve. Forget about the fan interactions. Mate, there's barely any events that we can go live, because first of all, your teams aren't fucking qualifying for these live events, and second of all, we're still in the middle of COVID. Even though restrictions are being loosened, the tournament organizers are not getting fans in. I'm pretty sure for Valorant there's not a live audience. Maybe I'm wrong. But for LEC, it was in their LEC studio, so it's not even in a big event like you could have organized in Madrid or like you did in Paris in 2017, right? That's not what's happening, Sam. So you've got time to go into this product and those experiences that money can buy. Mate, that is... Sorry, I've got an itch on my eye. But that's not your priority. Your current priority is, why are the fans getting so mad right now? You know? I really mean everything I said in the videos in 2022. Which videos? Could you link those? I don't know. In 2022, Fnatic is becoming a community-driven org. Is it? Is it being community-driven because you're creating a paid community with your NFTs? Or are you doing this organically? It is so weird to say you're being a community-driven org when you're literally getting the most crisis situation ever from your fan base out of any other year. It's been brewing these whole past years, and now is the explosion. And that's the year you want to be driven. And on your first topics, it's like, oh, we want to talk about the product roadmap. Community-driven product roadmap. No, Sam. No. If we don't care about the org, we don't want to interact with your fucking product. Here's the thing. And people are getting fed up. People are getting genuinely fed up. And they're struggling to support. And that's maybe why you're not selling all your NFTs, by the way, even though there's only 2,500. Think about it. Think about it, Sam. Think about it. You want it to be the best experience for a fan in esports and gaming. To get there, obviously, we have a work ahead. Sam, it doesn't have to be paid to be a great experience. There's a lot of stuff you can do organically. And then you can extend that experience through the paid NFTs, whatever, right? For some more VIP stuff. But there's a lot of fundamentals that it feels you've lost today. And you can just bring to the fans fully organically, even if they haven't paid $200, $300, $400, $600 to have access to it. You should not put the fundamentals behind a paywall. So think about it. I don't know. I'm talking as if you would be watching this, Sam, but it's probably not going to happen. Even if I tag you, you don't have probably 2 hours from your Ibiza home. But if you do, I'd appreciate it that you consider this. All right. And this is coming from a very long time fan. And people in the chat right here are sharing some of that as well. You know, communication from leaderships to fans. Losing against G2, everyone disappeared offline. Start working on stuff. Post people are gloomy, you know? That's the overall feeling. Sam is gonna tell us what we want to hear. That's the thing, is that if he really takes time with the fans and the paid fans, which I would say are in good part, you know, involved fans, very passionate fans. It almost comes down to us to challenge him, and that's why I've created this episode as well. You know, to kind of explain what what's been holding onto my heart, but also to say, hey, there's stuff, there's criticism, and there's priorities. So yeah. That's my 2 cents, guys. 2 cents that were 2 hours of show, but it was good. It felt good. Felt good to get that out there. But yeah, I don't know if you guys have anything else to say. You've been great interacting in the chat. Appreciate this. I think you hit the nail on the head in that last segment. Cheers, Tokiko. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. But yeah, nothing else to add from Cookie. Well, I guess that that seals it then. We'll end it on that note. Well, for all the people who've tuned in live, thank you very much. Ploppy, Cookie, Toki. You're all ending in eyes and ease. But thank you guys for people who are online, didn't necessarily type. Thank you as well for taking 2 hours of your Easter weekend with me. Matt Scott signing out. Always forever a fan of Fnatic through the ups and downs, mostly the downs recently, but we still want to believe. We still love this org. We're just frustrated, man. We're just frustrated, and we just want the best for our players, the competition, and our brand, and who we've been for so long at the top. We want Fnatic to shine again and be the top org that it claims to be, and not just live on past glories. That's all. Hashtag always Fnatic and fuck G2. You know what? I'll conclude on that one, Cookie. Good one. Guys, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for watching on YouTube. Keep giving me your feedback. I hope some of the stuff that you've commented on has been improved. I'll see you. I don't think I'm going to cover MSI, guys. I've been really too busy recently. I'm getting insane work days, so MSI might be very hard, especially since it's on Korean schedule. And G2 is there as well. Fuck those guys. Fuck those guys, dude. I ain't gonna do shit. But anyways, thank you. I'll see you next time. LEC summer. See you on Wednesday on the town hall. Bye, guys.